I can't believe I won.
And you still got people out there with double mask and face shields and shit. Look into it.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Look Into It. Today, my guest, he's a journalist, investigator, truth seeker, and one of the most powerful contributors on InfoWars, Mr. Greg Reese. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing great. Good to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm going to start off with one of your videos. There's a short video, 2 minutes. It's powerful.
The following was written by Dr. Gad Saad about the narcissism and grandiosity of celebrities. Let me explain yet again the source for all the platitudinous virtue signaling. The truly privileged elites know that deep down they are frauds. They suffer from existential guilt. Hence, one of the ways by which they assuage the guilt albatross around their necks is to demonstrate to the world that they are truly compassionate, truly loving, truly caring, truly profound. Hence, they love all undocumented immigrants. They love Mother Earth. They love the ozone layer. They love BLM. They love socialism. They love inner cities. They hate the gentrification of neighborhoods. They love mentors of color. They cherish diversity. They love LGBTQ movies. They adore queer architecture. They are better than you, more caring, more cultured, more empathetic. This permits them to sleep better at night. See, I'm not a fraud. I may be a gargantuan parasitic hedge fund bullshitter, but I really care. I may be an overpaid bullshit actor, but I fight for solar panels. Those flyover rubes, you know, down there, deserve their lot in life. They are racists who bed their siblings. We are science supporters who fight against Mother Earth rapists while flying in our private jets. It is a classic ego defensive strategy that permits the ruling class to exist within their fractured selves. And if decent people don't wake up against what is taking place, you will wake up and say, "What happened to my liberties?" Stop giving your support to the parasites, cowards, and traitors in pop culture. Support the truth. Support the new renaissance. Support the information.
Hell yeah, man. That was brilliant. And how disgusting is Hollywood? I can't believe I wanted to be part of that, man. When growing up, they had me hook, line, and sinker, man. I went to Hollywood. I wanted to be a rock star, but I would have been a famous actor too. I don't care. I just wanted to be famous. They got me good. And now I look at Hollywood as just an evil, disgusting industry and, you know, part of the New World Order. They, you know, to think that the New World Order doesn't have complete control of every aspect of life, especially entertainment. You know, you got to be in a trance. Greg, so I don't know that much about you personally, and that's why I wanted you on this podcast. I want to know, you know, like, where'd you grow up? You know, where you from? How did you end up on this path growing up? Were you always awake, or were you caught in the matrix?
I also grew up like seduced by Hollywood. You know, like I grew up in Cleveland, and I grew up with a pretty healthy suspicion of anything in authority. Like I didn't trust anything in authority, but I was seduced by Hollywood. And I remember growing up with like my best friend, and we would pretend like we were on, you know, Johnny Carson or whatever, like, you know, like as if we were a successful, you know, actor or filmmaker, what have you, and stuff like that. So the whole ego trip of Hollywood, yeah, I get it. I get it. And when I watched that video that you played, that's what, you know, I mean, I know what that's about, because I was I was seduced by that. You know, I believed in it when I was a kid.
So you from Cleveland? So were you ever a Browns fan? You grew up watching football?
The Browns, I was born in California. I grew up in Cleveland. The Browns is the reason why I'm not a sports fan. When I grew up, yeah, you get it. So I grew up, I was big time into sports growing up. I played football. I was on the track team. But then 2 years in a row, I cried over a football game. And it was like 86 and 87.
The fumble.
Yeah.
Draw to Biner. Ernest Biner. Fumble the ball, and Denver has recovered. Oh, my.
And the second year, after being alone in a room crying, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I just stopped. I stopped with sports altogether. And a lot of my none of my Cleveland friends approve of this. I've had Cleveland friends challenge me on this and compare it to women and be like, just because you've had your heart broken, does that mean you're going to give up on women? And I'm like, that's a totally different thing. I have more important things to do than football. But yeah, I blame that all on, I can't blame it on sports, but I think it's fair to blame it on the Cleveland Browns. They're a heartbreaker.
Damn. I remember the fumble. I am not from Cleveland, but the reason I'm a big Cleveland fan is I grew up in Orange County, Southern California, and born in LA, raised in Orange County, then went back to Hollywood and all that. But my brother had this big baseball card collection. He's 4 years older than me, loved to humiliate me. Love to, do that big brother stuff. You know what I mean? Sibling rivalry. He would just make me cry. And I remember being in bed, like crying, just praying to God that, that he would die. And he had this big baseball card collection, and he gave me one card. He goes, here, you can have this one. And it was a Dennis Eckersley, his rookie season in the Cleveland Indians. And then from that point on, I'm like, he gave it to me because the Indians were a joke. Cleveland was a joke. So he goes, here, you can have this one. And so he gave it to me. And then Cleveland just became my favorite team. Baseball, basketball, football. I used to get that NBA ticket for the Cavaliers back when Sean Kemp and Zdrunas Ilgauskas was on the team, all that shit. I was balls deep. What got me off basketball and baseball and all sports except UFC and football was once I started smoking weed when I was 28. That's when I'm like, what the fuck am I doing watching basketball? Because I'm over here in LA on NBA ticket watching the Cleveland Cavaliers playing in Cleveland at 7:30 at night in Cleveland. That means the game starts at 4:30 on the West Coast. So I was like spending a lot of time just wasting my time watching basketball, Cleveland Cavaliers from 4:30 to fucking 7:30 or whatever. Just like, what am I? I started smoking weed, and I was like, I cut out a lot of things in my life. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching basketball for?
If you want drama, I mean, when it comes to like professional sports, if you want the drama, then Cleveland is it. I mean, every Cleveland team, it's nothing but drama, and we never get a winner. And when we do get a winner, it'll turn around and like piss everyone off. We lost our football team. The Browns was sold, to Baltimore, right under our noses and stuff. And then when LeBron gets big, then LeBron leaves, and pisses everyone off, and then comes back. But I mean, it's just the Indians probably was one of the more interesting stories. And it was just, for a minute there, we had like a few years of glory after, but we never really quite got there. I don't think did the Indians ever win a World Series? We just came really close.
I think the Indians went to the World Series. I was like,
we went
long gone from baseball.
Yeah.
They started getting good right when they got the new stadium. When they get the new stadium, they blew up because they went from having the worst stadium in all of sports to now they got a new stadium. Now they're like in the playoffs. It was weird.
That's what it felt like. It felt like it was all about the stadium. Like you just got to spend $1 billion or whatever, and then you can, come close to winning.
Dude, that old Cleveland stadium, dude, they were just playing on like just dirt. It was the worst stadium ever. Everybody hated playing there. And now they got a great stadium. Now it's like, but now it's kind of, their new stadium's kind of old now compared to the one that they built for the Rams.
I think it was 95. LA. I think 95 was when that thing was built.
Yeah. So, you're in Cleveland. What did you want to be in high school? You played football in high school?
In high school, In high school, I was mostly doing things outside of high school. Like I didn't get in sports. I wasn't. I was in a music group in high school, like a singing group.
Like what kind of songs?
It was like lame. It was almost like Glee kind of thing, right?
Like doo-wop shit.
But that's where I met my that's where I hooked up with my girl. My only real serious girlfriend I've ever had in life was in high school. So outside of romance and sex, and then I was also sober through high school because I started I kind of started partying at a young age. And when I was 15, I went into I discovered AA. So through most of high school, I was hanging out with like AA groups on the side and just blowing off high school as much as possible. I'm lucky. I graduated actually by making videos very similar to the videos I'm making today. I was able to con 3 of my teachers when I was in my senior year into letting me do video projects because I was failing their classes. And I knew that, or I was confident that the only way I could probably impress them with a video project and maybe get a passing grade. So I got 3 of 4 teachers to agree to that. And the 4th one was like my history teacher, and I had to study for his final. And the other ones I just made these video projects for. And they were very similar to the ones I'm doing today. You know, they were
like
sort of
like in high school. Which video would you make one on? Like JFK or like
very much like that. It was for my English teacher. I think it was, each teacher I kind of knew what they were into. So it was almost like I was propagandizing each one to get my grade because I knew like one of them, it wasn't a JFK one, but it was one about the civil rights movement and the assassination of MLK. And I called it Black, White. And it was just music and video. And I knew it would it would just speak to the teacher because the teacher was always talking about that. And I did it on VHS. I had 2 VHS, like many people my age did this.
I did
2
that
VHS
shit.
players. Yeah, hooked up with Radio Shack components, where you're hitting like play on one and record on the other, and then you hit pause.
Yes,
Yeah.
So what year was that? What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 89. So this would have been 88, 89.
Okay. I graduated in 88. So we're basically same era. Man,
Yeah.
so you were already putting together like truth videos, like even in high school.
It's funny, man. Like I didn't really see this happening until it happened. But looking back, yeah, I mean, actually when I was 8, the first movie I ever made was when I was 8 years old. I had, with the assistance of my parents, they were sort of my production team. I made a Super 8 film in my sandbox about the extinction of the dinosaurs. And I remember I made a paper mache asteroid and I soaked in gasoline and threw a match on it with the Super 8 camera going and in the sandbox with my favorite dinosaur toys. So that was 1978. That was my first production. And I actually had that Super 8 film for many years and I don't have it anymore, but that was the first thing I ever made. And ever since I've done some along the way that were more dark comedy, but for the most part, I've done sort of like little, whatever you want to call what I'm doing now, little truth videos, little mini documentaries.
As a kid, you wanted to be a filmmaker.
I actually wanted to be, for most of my years, I wanted to be a musician. I spent like 15 years in bands playing music. And
what kind of music?
First band, they were all sort of a cross between rock and R&B. Like the first band was like a funky rock. And then in the middle band was like sort of a speed biker rock. And then the third band was
biker rock. I've never heard of
biker rock.
What is that?
I never heard of it either. It was actually pretty cool. That was one, and there was no vocals. It was pretty interesting. And third band was
what do you play? You were the singer? Or
in the first band I played guitar. The second, in the speed biker rock, I played bass. And then in the third band I played guitar, and it was like almost like a porn funk. And it was there's still some of that online, some of the recordings. And it was the singer is actually a very smart guy. And he's one of the first guys who sort of turned me on to the whole New World Order back in high school. He's a very smart guy, but he's also got a very just sort of juvenile, perverted sense of humor. And so we had a lot of song called Vagina Jumper. And that's probably the best song we ever did was Vagina Jumper. That song is a classic. And some other songs like Ice Pussy and
Vagina
like
Jumper.
that, just juvenile stuff, you know?
Yeah, I'm still writing juvenile song. I got a song about anal sex gone wrong called Baby Wipe.
I think all anal sex is anal sex gone wrong.
It's about anal sex gone wrong, but then it gets good again. That's all in the song. It's called, yeah, believe it or not, we're actually mixing it right now. It's happening right now. It's called Baby Wipe. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So you wanted to be in a band. So you did you have dreams of moving back to California? Were you thinking about stuff like that?
Well, I did a California trip. It was during the second band. It was during the Speed Biker Rock band.
Speed Biker Rock. Are you talking about Motorhead?
It was like, I didn't write my friend Alex wrote the music. I played bass, and it was just like, I'm surprised I haven't heard other stuff like it, actually. And I wish we would have recorded more. Just real simple riffs, but fast. And it was just unique. I enjoyed it. And I call it Speed Biker Rock just because I don't know what else to call it, but it was good stuff. And it was fueled by speed. This was in the dark days of my life where, every day was basically fueled by what we were calling. I think we were originally calling it cocaine, but later we just started calling it shit because it wasn't like necessarily cocaine. It was just really bad speed. It was hardcore trouble. I was
so that's why at 15 you were in AA, because you were making music and you thought, okay, I'm making music. We got a party. Let's do drugs. That's what it's all about.
Well, I started when I was 12. When I was 12, I started smoking pot and doing acid. And I was
where were your parents at? Did you have both your parents?
I actually grew up. You know, it's interesting. My parents get all the credit. My parents created a very safe and secure home for me growing up, and it was all my own. It's an interesting story. I told the story before, but I grew up in a Catholic school, and I was betrayed by Jesuit priests at a very young age. My memory isn't a sexual one. It was more of a satanic ritual abuse type of thing when I was 5 years old.
What?
But yeah, it's crazy, right?
Sam Tripoli and I are coming to your town. Catch us on the road doing Tinfoil Hat Comedy. Follow me on Instagram at Tinfoil Hat Comedy Night. August 5th and August 6th will be in San Francisco at Cobb's Comedy Club. Go to samtripoli.com for more information and to buy your tickets. See you on the road.
It caused me to have an extremely focused, rebellious attitude towards all authority. So yeah, I started doing drugs at a young age, but I also learned how to avoid getting in trouble at a young age. I also learned how to know that, like, I was very focused about my rebellion and my mischievousness. So I knew not to get in trouble. So I became clever and with my parents, to answer that question. But I don't want to leave that hanging because it is interesting. But what happened was, and I actually wrote about this in a book. I dedicated a whole book about this, about how a traumatic event in childhood can affect a person's life for decades. And so that's what happened to me. And when I was 5, I went to Toronto and I believe this is really what put me on the path I'm on today with my job and everything. I mean, I think once I tell the story, it'll make sense. But my uncle was graduating as a Jesuit in Toronto, which is like sort of Jesuit headquarters. I don't think my uncle is aware of any of this. My uncle is an interesting character. He's not altogether there, but very smart also. It's an interesting dichotomy. But the family went up there in 75 to watch him graduate. And I was invited to spend the night in the Jesuit house. And today, to me, that seems outrageous. Of course not. Of course, our 5-year-old son isn't going to spend the night in a house of Jesuit priests. But I don't know, maybe in 75, I had a big Irish Catholic family. Maybe in 75, the Irish Catholics really had more trust for priests and stuff back then. I don't know. I'm cutting them some slack. But so anyways, the events of that night, for many years, for most of my life, I would describe as a dream. I would say it was the strangest dream I ever had because it seemed so real. And then in my early 30s, when I started going down this path of just sort of trying to put together missing pieces in my life, this was the main thing that came up, because the only memory I had was like a traumatized memory of being in the window well of the Jesuit house in 1975 during this, and I didn't know what was going on. And then through meditation and basically meditation and prayer and focus and stuff like that, I realized that this thing I thought was a dream was always actually, it was a memory that I had, that what happened. And I was able to verify it. Like, I contacted people that I remembered being involved, the priest. So anyways, here's the story. The story was I spent the night there. And then, according to my uncle, I sleepwalked out of the room in the middle of the night, and I was gone for a few hours. And then I was returned by this, and he named the guy's name. And what my memory is being in a cold, dank basement, and there's a body on an altar, and there's a bunch of people wearing black robes. Everyone's towering over me. I'm a little kid, and I'm in the front right by this body on the altar, and there's a person next to me, and the person puts a knife in my hand and says, "We're all gods, and we want you to be a god as well. And here's how you can be a god: is you can stick this knife in this body right here. This person needs you. They need you to do that." And so all I really remember is not wanting to do that, but at the same time, I didn't want to disappoint all these gods, So it was like I was just sort of faking it, and then there was this huge feeling of disappointment in the room. And that was the most memorable part of the whole experience, was the feeling of the reaction to not following through with what they asked me to do. And for many years, like I said, for the years following, I described that to my friends as a young child as a dream, a very strange dream that haunted me. And then as I got older, and I realized it is a memory, and then it became of the question of like, well, what was it all about? And now it seems fairly obvious to me. I would say it's probably obvious to anyone who's hearing it. It seems to me like just a very crude recruitment test, to see if I had the psychotic persona. I don't know. Or maybe it was just all a hallucination, and I'm a crazy person. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy. I have similar stories, because I was an altar boy too, and me and my best friend, we were altar boys. We were altar boys when we believed in Catholicism and the way they had it structured. I wanted to go to heaven. I just wanted to go to heaven bad. And then once I realized at 11 that there were not everybody was Catholic. I thought everybody was Catholic. Everybody in my neighborhood was Catholic. Everybody at my school was Catholic. Like, everyone's Catholic. Then you start finding out about what's a Jew, what's a Muslim, there's other religions. How do we know we're right? There's more of them than us. So what are we doing here? Who's right here? And then at that point, I was like, okay, it's all bullshit. So then then we went back as altar boys, as atheists. So at that point, we're poor little Mexicans. We were going to get revenge on the church.
Really?
And we just wanted to steal.
I got a similar story.
We just wanted to steal the money to go play video games. Just that, the collection money. I thought they were stealing from us. I go, fuck them. Let's go get that money. So we were altar boys, but it was like Ocean's 11, dog. They thought we would leave. We had it all figured out. At first, I felt so betrayed by the church. I'm like, my family just giving them money at church every Sunday. And, I needed some of that money to go play Miss Pac-Man and to get some king size Snickers. You know what I mean? So me and my buddy, they would lock the doors of the church. We had a neighborhood church. It was like in our neighborhood, we had a gigantic church, and they would lock the doors. The custodian or the janitor guy, the groundskeeper guy would lock the doors at 8:30. But we would hide under the pews. So with screwdrivers and shit, we had screwdrivers. So where the people pray on the side, there's these little steel boxes where you slide like a $1 bill in there and some change, and then you pray, right? So when the groundskeeper locked everything, we're just lying under the pews waiting for everyone to bail. And there's so many candles lit inside the church. It's pretty well lit, but we're alone in the church. And we're opening up those metal boxes, boom, pull out like $2, $3, $5 maybe, and go play video games all night. And then we decided, like, damn, you know where the big money's at? The big money's at the collection thing. And like, shit, maybe we should be altar boys again and pick at some of that money. Yeah, well,
I was doing the same thing. I was. And it was almost like a militant operation. It was out of revenge. It wasn't greed, because I didn't, and I did blow it on video games, because what else are you going to blow it on? But
it was all about video games and revenge.
I would just do it as an altar boy. So I would volunteer to be the altar boy to take the basket and bring it, after the collection.
That's what we did.
Yeah, they would take.
I did the same thing.
The priest would hand me the collection basket, and I'd carry it into the sacristy. And then as soon as I got in there, I would just grab a handful, shove it into my pocket, and I would just do that every week. And I'm amazed at how easy it was.
The way we would do it is we would be altar boys and run through the whole, ritual and everything. And then when we were leaving, the priest would think we left, but we were hiding. We'd say, bye, Father, bye, Father. We would hide in the closet where all the robes are. We would just hide there and wait for him to leave. And then we'd come out like two little rats, and we'd open up the cabinet, find where the collection plate is, take like $5 and go play video games all night. And Defender, fucking Centipede, Crazy Kong. And people forget about Crazy Kong. Everyone remembers Donkey Kong. Crazy Kong existed too. It's very similar. But anyways, that's what it was all about. And then the way we got caught is we kept doing it. Like, my mom thought she was so proud of me, because you're going to church every night. I'm like, just trying to get to heaven, Mom. My mom was so proud of me. She's like, shit, I can't believe I have a son that goes to church and he's an altar boy. Oh my, she couldn't believe it. She was so proud of herself for raising such a good kid. And then one time we did it, and when the priest locked up and left, we come out of the closet. He left a note. Whoever is taking this money, please stop.
Wow.
So we didn't take as much. We probably took like $3. and then they finally figured it out. We're hiding in the closet. And instead of that door closing and there being silence, that door didn't close, and we just heard footsteps coming down, because there was like a lot of like a long hallway of closets where there's a shitload of robes, all altar boy gowns and all that shit. And we're hiding in one of the closets, and all we could hear was him opening up the closets one by one, going through. You could hear him going through the robes, and you could hear the hangers sliding across the little beams that they're hanging on. And I'm like, oh shit, we're fucked. Dude, all I could think of was just me and my buddy Matt. When he went like this, he went, and he saw us. All I could think of was go, boo, boo, we got him, we scared him. And then we ran, we got you, Father. We just ran, never went back to church ever again. He just stood there. He didn't say shit. He just stood there. Like, damn, then we had to start taking quarters and getting 5 nickels out of the quarters. And then boom, we'd wake up in the morning and start smashing nickels and shaping them into slugs. So we can get, they would work if you smash them right. You smash a nickel with a hammer, within like 100 swings, boom, you make a quarter. Get a video game out of it.
I didn't do that one. That's pretty good. We used to put nickels on the railroad tracks or on the train tracks. Just
we did that too, but it's not gonna get you free pack.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Pac-Man was my shit. Like I never got into regular Pac-Man. Regular Pac-Man was like too old school. Miss Pac-Man was the shit.
That's, but LA that you're growing up in?
I grew up born in LA, raised in Orange County, which is an hour south.
Okay.
And then moved back to Hollywood when I was 21. Like, I'm gonna be a rock star. You know, another thing that we have in common as well is I didn't even tell you that while we were altar boys, the priest made a move on me and my he just had no game. He asked us if we wanted to go get ice cream. Motherfucker said ice cream.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, fuck, hell yeah, let's go get some ice cream. And so we had planned it. He fucked up because he shouldn't have planned it for like a day. He should have just I'm sure he learned from this because he planned it. And I was like, we were all ready to go get some ice cream. My buddy told his Aunt Martha, because Father's going to take us to go get ice cream. And she's like, oh, really? She goes, I'm going to go with you guys. So she cock blocked.
Yeah.
He fucked up. Rookie move. He was a younger priest. He didn't have that much experience.
I was actually, I think lucky about the original experience I had, the weird body on the altar experience, because of that, by the time I was an altar boy, I knew that these priests were all dirt bags. And so I was like a little shit and they knew I was a little shit. And I remember seeing other altar boys like sitting on their knee and stuff. And like, so I saw weird stuff going on. And I think they were very well aware that I thought that they were all weirdo. You know, I didn't like any of them. I didn't, so, I mean, it's messed up, man. Catholic Church has got some, I mean, I think every religion has been subverted to a very deep degree, you know?
It's obvious. I mean, Catholicism is the one that's the most obvious.
Well, the Catholicism sort of started off that way, really. I mean, Catholicism was like the first way to subvert Christianity, you know? Yeah,
they hijacked it.
Yeah.
They're like, to me, I'm no historian and I don't know what history to believe. There's so much bullshit. Like, who knows what's real? But I'm going with, based on what I know, for some reason, the masses wanted Jesus and Rome was losing all their people. Like, okay. Fuck. Dude,
we'll stop killing them.
Jesus, we got to get up with this Jesus. You go check this out. So they said, no, come back. We do Jesus too. No, Jesus is number one too. And they're like, for real? And they go, yeah. Come on back. We got Jesus too.
We ain't going to kill you no more.
No, we got Jesus. So they hated Jesus because they had to use him, you know. But then they ended up getting power from it. They go, dude, check this out. We'll create our own rock stars. You know, the priests, they talk to Jesus once every 6 months. The bishops, they talk to Jesus once a month. The cardinals every week, at least once a week. And the Pope talks to Jesus every day. So anybody that talks to Jesus, whether it's you talk to him once every 6 months or once a month, if you're talking to Jesus, you got power. Can you imagine the amount of pussy those motherfucking priests and cardinals and bishops were getting before they outlawed sex? How much pussy?
Well, that's why they outlawed sex.
They were getting too much pussy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? It couldn't have happened overnight. It had to have been like, if you go back in time, it had to have been like years and years of like dudes getting there. We came back. We thought you liked Jesus, but the priest is fucking my wife. He's fucking my friend's wife. You know what I mean? It had to be a serious problem.
Yeah.
For years, like 10 years. And then the priests, when they heard it was coming down, like when they heard about Roe v. Wade, they go, dude, they're going to outlaw pussy if we don't fucking keep it together. You can't be fucking everybody's wives. They're going to be outlawing some pussy. And they go, nah, they'll never outlaw pussy. They'll never go, yes, they will. You don't. It was a conspiracy theory. They're going to outlaw pussy. Like, nah. And then when they finally did, when the hammer finally, I mean, dude, priests must have fucking lost their minds. Most of them quit like day one. They're like, fuck that. Like, why would I be a priest if I can't get any pussy? So then then it just seems like, you know, religion, you know, in the Bible, it says, you know, like Old Testament, if you're gay, it's evil or whatever. Like, isn't that the Old Testament? Something like that. It's against gays, right?
Well, I think what
Something
it
like
says
that?
is it's not saying it's not saying it's evil as much as it's saying that if you go down that road, you're not going to have a very good life. And I'm not a Bible scholar, so I can't quote the Bible scripture.
It's something like that.
But
There's
it's
something.
basically saying you could do, if you do that, you're gonna find yourself in sort of a road to ruin kind of thing.
Yeah. So basically, that's why, I have friends that are gay, and they're like, most of them are not religious at all, because they say, look, if it says in the Bible that being gay is wrong, then I don't want to be part of that religion. And I get it. I totally get that shit. But if you grow up in a religion that demonizes being gay, and then you find out you're gay, like whatever that switch is, and you're like, oh shit. Guys that were like turning 13, 14, and now they're finding out that, damn, that they're attracted to dudes from the same sex. They're keeping that shit in. They're going, oh my God, Satan has entered my soul. I got to fight this. So they end up being super God because they don't want to go to hell. They were like, fuck that. I'm not going to hell. I'm super God. And they want to like be priests and shit. They're like, fuck. They're just like, dude, I don't like, but you can't have pussy. And go, dude, I don't want pussy. Pussy's the last fucking thing I want. I just want to get to heaven. I want to be a priest. So anybody that's going to accept a job where you can't get any pussy, you got to question it. You know what I mean? Because you could get to heaven and still have sex. You don't have to like give it up. You know what I mean? It must have been such a fucking problem for them to outlaw it. They had to outlaw. They're okay. No more pussy for you guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense.
There was no MTV. There was no rock stars. There was no actors.
Well, that's what it was. It was rock stars.
Yeah. They were the rock stars.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably one of the biggest problems with religion is because really, I am a very, I talk about God all the time. I think I'm a pretty spiritual person, and I always have been. But for me, it's always been like, it's a personal relationship. And the only purpose for church, in my eyes, is like for community. If you want to, teach your kids certain social disciplines, I think taking them to church is probably good. If you want to meet other people in the community that have sort of similar mindsets, I think church is a good place. But to go to church to find any kind of, relationship with God I think it's ridiculous, because that's not what's going on. It's more of like what you're talking about. It's more of like a political structure of rock stars, that used to get all the pussy in the world, and now all of a sudden they've been cut off,
Yeah, that must have been the dark ages for the priesthood. They could probably talk about the good old days. Like 10 years after they banned it, they're like, dude, man, remember the good old days?
I just recently discovered Orthodox Christianity, and that was one of the big questions was, well, how do they do it? And what I learned was that if you're in Orthodoxy, if you're married before, like if you want to become a priest and you're married, then that's fine. But once your wife dies, if she dies and you're still a priest, you can't remarry.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
And if you're not married and you want to become a priest, then you just can't ever be married. Ooh. And the whole point makes sense. And it's the rock star point. That's what you're saying. And that's what they're saying basically, is they're like, you can, before you're the rock star, yeah, fine. But once you become that rock star, once you're like wearing the robes and you're up in front of everyone on Sunday, then you can't, because then because you're going to be attracting. Women aren't going to want to be with you because they, love you. They want to be with you because they want to be with the pimp, with the rock star, they want to be with that dude who talks to Jesus every now and then. You know what I mean? They're like, fuck yeah, I want that motherfucker. If you talk to Jesus, shit. Yeah.
Shit. Chicks like that.
Hell yeah.
Chicks like dudes that talk to Jesus. That's a lot of power, dude. Damn. Oh, the Pope. Damn. Remember? Can you imagine the Pope before they outlawed the pussy? Pope?
Jesus,
dude. But the Pope before they outlawed pussy.
That's crazy.
The first popes, dude. We're talking like Brad Pitt type pussy. You know what I mean? He's getting everything. Because Brad Pitt, they've blown him up so much. He's been in so many movies, and anytime, like, it's just like guys are starstruck too. Guys like.
Do you think, here's a theory I just thought of. I haven't thought of this in years, but it's a theory I've had. Do you think that Hollywood stars become more attractive after years of everyone like watching movies and desiring them, lusting after them, whatever, that amount of energy makes them even more attractive, or at least makes us perceive them as more attractive?
I think it's just a warped natural instinct, because the natural instinct would be, it's good for the tribe, right? The hunter and gatherer. It's good for the tribe, for the females to be attracted to the leaders, the ones that are the hunters, the ones that are going to get up in front of
keep
the
us
whole
alive.
clan.
Yeah,
they're going to get up in front of the whole clan, and they're going to make speeches, and they're going to be motivational. And so biologically, I think we're meant to be attracted to the leader that's up on the stage. And the movie screen is like that. It's that stage, but fucking like it's warped. It's like 1,000 times stronger. Like the body wasn't prepared for that, because the body, it's almost like sugar. Like sugar's good for you in fruit, and your body is attracted to sugar because the sugar is going to take the nutrients that are in the fruit into your blood system. So your body goes, check this out. We're going to use that sugar as bait. But you fucking learn how to separate the sugar from the fruit and make refined sugar. Your body is just like, it's warped. It's like, wait a minute. Well, I want more sugar. But there's no nutrients attached to anything. It's just sugar, sugar, sugar. And you just want that sugar because it's a body fuck up. Like if you had to go back and redo the body, whoever created the body, they go, okay, we had no fucking idea they were going to learn how to pull the sugar out of this firewall fruit. In there, man. How are we supposed to fucking know? So listen, you know what I mean? It's a big fuck up. That's why we eat candy and junk food, because
sugar's a bad one.
It's our instincts. It's for survival, but it's fucked up because we altered it with our, mental abilities, like scientific shit, So I think, like when you see Brad Pitt on the screen and on the billboards, that's that dude where the same monkey genes that get activated. It's like, he's just supposed to be on a little hill talking to 200 people. He's not supposed to be like it. So I think that's a part of it. Women love celebrities, goddamn, but so do guys. Women love celebrities more than guys, because guys just want like a pretty face and a hot ass, and it's very unfair to women, because it's very, very unfair that men are way more visual than emotional in regards to attraction to the opposite sex, for sure. It's not fair. It's like, damn, it's not fair. No matter how you could be the smartest person in the world, but if you look like shit and you eat junk food all day and you're way out of shape and you're just a big mess, we're not into it. It doesn't matter how funny you are. It's not fair, but it balances itself out, because women aren't fair either, because women are in a general sense, not everybody. I know a girl who isn't like that. Not talking about that. In a general sense, women are attracted more to intellect and celebrity and power. Trust me, I've seen it, dog. I've seen it. Women fucking go nuts. Married women go nuts for celebrities. They go nuts. They fucking lose their mind. They act like guys around celebrities. Women are like guys around celebrities. That's 100%. I've seen it. I see they can't control, but and then you could have guys that say, "Oh, that's unfair. That's unfair." You know what I mean? I'm a good looking guy. I make a lot of money. She don't give a shit about me. He was on a TV show and she's going crazy. That's where it all balances out, because we're not fair either. We're judging on looks more than we are, personality. You know what I mean? In a general sense. So it balances itself out, So once you understand the game and you understand how people are, then you don't get so butthurt and emotional about it. You just play the game. You're just like, okay, I get it. I know for me, looks are very important. Like when it comes to the opposite sex, I got to get turned on. You know what I mean? I'm just a fucking man. I don't know what happened. I wish I wasn't like that. I wish I liked ugly people. You know what I mean? Sexually. I wish I was turned on by repulsive women. I wish life would be so much easier.
It would be easier.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if you just got turned on by like the uglier the woman was, the harder your dick got? I mean, that would be fucking perfect.
A woman deserves to be with a man. But it doesn't work that way. No, and a woman deserves to be with a man who sees her as as an incredibly desirable thing to be had. You know, I mean, that's a woman. I think a woman wants that. You know, and so
we just got to accept that. You know, generally, men are go out and they're the hunters, and the women raise the children. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, and it's weird that we even have a problem with it because
they demonize raising your kids. Like when I was growing up, if like we were all taught to believe that if you got pregnant, your life is fucking over, and if a girl got pregnant, if you didn't get an abortion, your life was fucking over. And the way they got you is like, all your friends are gonna go to parties without you. They're gonna go to clubs without you. You're gonna be home with the crying baby, and they're gonna be partying, and they're not gonna want to hang out with you, and everyone's gonna have so much fun, and you're gonna be with the baby. That's what it was like. A hell. It was like a hell. Like a little, 16-year-old that got pregnant with a baby. Hell.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, no, got to get rid of it.
Well, it was the exact opposite for me. I never had the baby road. I was married twice in very short-lived marriages, and I lived a life of mostly wild promiscuity and drug use and stuff.
Me too.
And I'll tell you, like, that's not the way to go. I mean, I did my own, like Frank Sinatra, I did it my way, and that's, just the way I am. And, but if I would have listened to smart advice along the way, which I never have, then I probably would have lived differently, but oh, well, everything worked out just as it should. I think, I was meant to be, and I'm much more prepared for a relationship now. Like I think when I was younger, in my promiscuous days, in my wild days, I was way into pleasing women. I was way into I was a gentleman. I was a big.
I thought you were going to say I was into eating their ass. That's
not ass.
That's what I thought you were like. I was into pleasing.
No.
Dude, this guy eats ass. I'm kidding.
Close.
Just go. This is prison guard. All right, whether I sweep them, whether I put this butterfly in here and sweep them, I shuck, squeeze, gift wrap, and boom, and now I'm on his back. Maybe I sweep them the other way. Maybe I put this butterfly this way. Have him let go of the double unders, and look, shoot this through, boom, and then I go bam. Look where we're at, boom. A shoulder crunch attempt is probably, like all sweeps, 20% at best successful. But doing it from here, if it doesn't work, I still got them. I used to go here, boom, and then come here, and come up this way. That's what I usually do. All that is prison guard, all right? It's all off homie control. Homie control, again, is like the mission control of prison guard.
But now now it's like I'm pretty much, after having just too many bad experiences and having too much work I don't have any time, and I don't really need anyone. But I'm at the point now where if it ever comes around, it's really, I have a clear frame of mind now. Like the way I think now is it's more about like doing my part for civilization to repopulate, to be fruitful and multiplying. So it really is going to be coming down to finding, a nice, young, beautiful woman ready to make a lot of babies and make me sandwiches. That's really the right mindset, I think, to be at as a human. And it's funny that so many people have a problem with human roles in sex and relationships, because I think the same people who criticize the roles would never question, like if they were like watching a David Attenborough, nature special about, guinea pigs or hedgehogs or horses or whatever, any kind of other animal, they're not going to be like, oh, that's wrong for the females to be acting like that and the males to be acting like that. We got to do something about that. It's insane, because humans, we're half animal. I mean, yeah, a lot of us, I think all of us have a soul, but I mean, definitely a lot of us have a soul, but all of us are at least half animal. And so it's outrageous to think that we should not have these instinctual, normal animal, habits. And it's ingrained into our being. It's how we multiply.
Yeah.
We multiply.
It's crazy how no feminists say anything. They keep their mouth shut while they're having sex. You know what I mean? It's like, can you imagine a feminist? Like, I will not bend over. I will not bend over.
It's all mental illness. That's all it is.
Imagine that? All that feminism gets thrown out the door when, it's time to procreate. Otherwise, they wouldn't be getting on all fours. They'd be like, I refuse. I'm going to fuck you. Okay.
I mean, a lot of times
the guys are like, cool. Fuck yeah, I love feminist chicks. They just want to get on top and do reverse cowgirl.
Right.
The feminists.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with making a content for InfoWars and Alex Jones? How did that happen?
I was living in a temple at an ashram, a yoga ashram, for like 3 years straight during the Obama years, because I gave up. I was like red pilled back in 2004. And by 2012, I just gave up. I was like, man, no one's waking up. Everyone's going deeper asleep. So
what woke you up? Let's back up a little bit. 2004. The moon. How?
It was actually, remember Richard Hoagland? He had like a 3-hour videotape on the moon Mars connection. Yeah,
totally.
It was that videotape that did it. It was something about that videotape. It just, something in my head was like, if NASA's clearly lying about all this. That's what I realized. I didn't know I think Hoagland was wrong about a lot of his theories, but
what was he wrong about? What did he
I think what he was wrong about were the glass structures on the moon. I don't think those were glass structures. I think that was actually the glass rear projection screen that they used to fake the moon landings. If someone says he was talking great stuff about pictures and stuff like that, these are fucking pictures, there's artificial lighting and all that. I was like down with that. You wouldn't even be able to take those goddamn pictures of, like, if you go up and you look at the moon and how fucking bright it is. Yeah.
Imagine how bright. I mean, there's like, I don't know what it's called. There's a law of brightness. Like if you were standing on one end of a football field and it was at night and there was a car with his headlights on the bright headlights, high beams, 100 yards away, you could look right at those lights and it wouldn't affect you. But the closer you got to it, the brighter it would get. And if you get right into it, it's going to fuck your eyes up. It's going to be too bright. There's like the law of what's it called? There's a law of light.
For me, it was just the fact that they weren't commenting on these pictures, because I saw enough pictures that were totally bizarre that and I just knew, like, if we had an honest news media, they would at least be saying, look at this fucking picture. This is fucking weird. Like what you're saying, like, what's up with the lighting here? They would have at least mentioned it. And the fact that they weren't mentioning any of these pictures, that was just enough for me to, for whatever reason, to just have a moment where I was like, all right, well, what else is going on? And then, how it is once you ask yourself that question, once you open yourself up to the possibility that you're being lied to, and then all you got to do is start looking, and it's just within a year. So that was like in 2004. By 2005, I pretty much knew everything I know now as far as the New World Order and the whole crazy story.
When did you meet Alex Jones? I mean, when was the first time you had contact with him?
So when I was in Hawaii, InfoWars was having a hiring contest, and I did a video for a water filter because the volcano just erupted in Hawaii, and I didn't know if my water was contaminated. So I did a video test. I had an InfoWars filter, And then when I sent that in, Rob Dew wanted to use it as an ad. So Rob Dew called me because he needed my permission to use it as an ad. And then once I had Rob Dew's phone number, I knew I would get the job because I knew I was like, okay, they need an editor, and I know I can edit, and I have his number. So then I sold everything I had, and I didn't have much. And then I moved to Austin from Hawaii. And then once I got to Austin, I called Rob up and I was like, hey, Rob, it's Greg Reese. I moved here. I want to work, blah, blah, blah. So he met me for lunch, and then he hired me on. And then the first time I met Alex was like the next day. I saw him like right in the break of one of his shows. I saw him in passing, and that was probably the only time I ever met him where he wasn't genuine. And it's understandable because it was a very first time meeting. Diplomatic. He's in the middle of a show, blah 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 blah, and he's just like, hey, how you doing, blah blah blah, just very official and sort of straightforward. But after that, Alex is a trip, as you know, man. Alex is one of the more interesting people I've been around a bunch of interesting folks, but he's an interesting guy.
What do you think about the guys that think he's Bill Hicks? Hilarious.
That I think is crazy. And I actually, because I'm a big Bill Hicks fan, and they were around the same time. It wasn't like Alex wasn't around and Bill Hicks was. I mean, they were doing their thing during the same years, so
yeah.
It's crazy, and I don't know if people actually believe that or if they're just trolling.
I'll be honest with you. I saw a video, and when I saw the video, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that, I was like, damn. But I've known Alex for like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this can't be true. I mean, there's pictures of Alex in high school, and he's yoked, and he played football or some shit, or like, no way he's Bill Hicks, but they do look similar.
It's funny how he reacts. Like if you mention it to him, it's funny how he gets how defensive he gets, and then the
funny. Whole Kevin, and it
makes you want to ask him more about it.
The whole Kevin Booth connection, that's kind of crazy too, right?
Yes. Well, he'll always bring that up as part of his defense of like, oh yeah, we both knew Kevin Booth, blah blah blah.
Eat babies. So damn, that's an interesting story. So you fucking just moved to Austin, like all these comedians now, because now that Joe moved to Austin, all these comedians are moving to Austin, man. It's incredible. There's like a comedy revolution going on in Austin.
I got out. Austin, that's too much for me. I'm not a big fan of human zoos. That's how I'll put it. I mean, I grew up in Cleveland. Cleveland's a bit of a human zoo. I lived in New York City. New York City's definitely a human zoo. LA, I've been to LA. LA is a human zoo. I mean, no offense to anyone who likes the human zoo, but I'm not a fan. So I'm ultimately, and it's hard to get away from it. Like I'm in a small zoo right now. I'm in Naples, Florida, which is a small town, still a ton of people. But ultimately, I think ultimately the dream is to try to get out a little bit more in the country someday, but can't do it really right now with the job and everything like that. But yeah, Austin is, and it's not so much the zoo, it's the politics really. Austin, I couldn't even go out in public without feeling like someone was going to come spit in my face. The town is just crawling with not just hardcore lefties, but like engaged, like it's like Portland. It's about as bad as Portland.
Really? How long did you last in Austin?
I was there for like 3 years. It was great, actually. I mean, working at headquarters, Infowars headquarters was awesome. It was like out of a movie. And the people that, the coworkers, people I work with there, it's just great people, great scene, unbelievable job. Like the freedom. I'll just speak for myself. On day one, I was told, Rob Dew was like, okay, as far as my reports, he was like, just pick a story you think is important and upload it. Boom. And I remember even asking him, I was like, is there should I show it to someone first? Like make sure it's okay. And Rob was like, we don't have time for that. So I'm like, awesome. So literally there's like 3 videos out of the hundreds I've done where someone told me, and it was Alex, guided me in the right direction. Like it was the God Sod video was one. I think it was Alex, but someone at work suggested I redo that. And then there was a Bill Gates video I did that Alex asked me to do. And then there's one other one I can't think of. I just recently did a Satanism one that Alex asked me to do. But outside of that, I literally just do whatever I want to do. And that's it. And upload it.
You know what video blew me the fuck away was the Elon Musk one.
Pop culture has touted Elon Musk as some sort of eccentric heavyweight genius with humble beginnings. But this is demonstrably false. Elon Musk was born in South Africa, where he claims he grew up extremely poor, but his family owned an emerald mine. As a teenager, Elon would trade emeralds for cash in New York City, and his father bragged how they had so much money we couldn't even close our safe. Musk claims to have had about $100,000 of student loan debt, but he received a full scholarship to the University of Pennsylvania, where he bought a 10-bedroom frat house with his friend Adeo Ressi and ran an illegal nightclub. The pop culture claim is that Elon has an IQ of 155, but this has never been tested, and after being accepted into Stanford for PhD studies, he dropped out after 2 days. After dropping out, Elon began his first business venture with his brother Kimball, Zip2, which was essentially a digital version of the Yellow Pages. The brothers received tens of thousands of dollars from their parents, and yet Elon denies this. An associate of Elon's father, Greg Curry, got involved to bring in investors, but Elon's code was no good, so they had to hire on professional coders to rewrite everything. Zip2 was then sold for $307 million to Compaq, who later shut it down without ever earning a profit. Elon made $22 million, bought a $1 million McLaren F1 supercar, which made mainstream news, before he totaled the uninsured vehicle. Musk then went on to create an online bank, X.com. He partnered with banking expert Harris Fricker, Edward Ho, and Christopher Payne. All three ended up leaving the company after accusing Elon of lying to the media about the quality of their product. Elon claims he founded PayPal. Before the company was named PayPal, it was known as Confinity. It was founded in 1998 by Peter Thiel and Max Levchin. After losing millions of dollars, Elon's X.com was bought by Confinity in a merger in 2000. All Musk contributed at Confinity was his own power struggle. He made himself CEO and pushed to change the name to X.com. The executive team successfully petitioned to fire Musk while he was away on vacation. Part of Musk's resignation agreement stipulated that all references to founders of the company will be removed from their website, allowing Elon to claim credit, which so far is all he has ever achieved. Peter Thiel then rebranded the company as PayPal, went public, and sold to eBay for $1.5 billion. Elon made $180 million from the deal, which he then invested into Tesla, SpaceX, and failed company SolarCity. Elon falsely claims to be the founder of Tesla. Tesla was founded in 2003 by Mark Tarpenning and Martin Eberhard, who developed the Tesla Roadster. When Tesla Motors began looking for venture capital, they approached Elon Musk, who had the fake credibility as PayPal's co-founder. Musk joined with the condition that he be named chairman of the board. In emails, Musk was upset that the media was not giving him credit for Tesla Motors and went after Martin Eberhard, replacing him as CEO. He then forced Eberhard out of the company and rewrote the company's history to have himself listed as an original co-founder. Martin Eberhard, the man behind the Tesla Roadster, was promised the first Roadster off the assembly line, but Musk screwed him over on that as well and sent that car into space.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
So who is Elon Musk? Elon describes his father as being an evil, abusive man. His father, Errol Musk, has been accused of being a pedophile and fathered a child with his stepdaughter, who is 42 years younger than him. This spoiled, narcissistic failure, son of accused pedophile, wants to put computer chips in everyone's brain so that we can merge with artificial intelligence. His girlfriend is now bragging how this could all lead to a communist utopia. And strangely enough, former Nazi and head of NASA, Wernher von Braun, predicted a man named Elon would conquer Mars in a 1952 novel that he wrote. Which is odd, because NASA has partnered with Elon's SpaceX to work towards colonizing Mars. Elon Musk, like everything else in today's modern society, is a fraud, a fake genius, just like fake philanthropist Bill Gates, brought to you by the fake news. Here's a pro tip for dealing with the mainstream media and all of pop culture. Assume it's a lie and research everything.
I enjoyed that one.
What do you think's going on with Elon Musk? Is it possible that he's waking up legit, or is he deep state? Like, I'm confused. He faked launching. He's faking space shit all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
He's faking space shit. So how do you trust that?
That's his main job. His main job is to be the new NASA.
Yes.
And the new Einstein, which is the new face of bullshit. It's the new, and he's got no, like, if you look into his past, everything about him is a lie. Like, he never really, there's no evidence that he's a genius. He stole, he's like a Bill Gates. Like, maybe there's, evidence contrary to this, but I haven't seen any of it. The evidence I've seen shows that he basically stole everything. He never, PayPal wasn't his. He paid money to have his name, to get credit for it. I don't even think
PayPal wasn't his. Most people think PayPal wasn't his.
No. His company merged with a company that became PayPal, but none of it was really his work. I think they were going to take the name. The name was Xtel, I think. It's in the video that you mentioned. I can't remember, but no,
I'm pretending like I didn't see the
Here's
video.
what I think he is. I think he's just another face. I don't think he was ever doing anything good, because all that's happening right now is the destruction of the Bill of Rights, the U.S. Constitution. That's it. Everything that's happening in the world stage right now, it's all about, there's one mission and one mission only. And that mission is to kill freedom, because you can't have a global one world government with the ideas of a Second Amendment, or the ideas of natural law, the ideas that God has made everyone equally sovereign and free. These are ideas that have to be destroyed if you're going to move into this, worldwide social credit score system, communist system. You can't have these ideas. So it doesn't matter, no matter what it takes, as long as you can destroy the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights, mission accomplished. So, Elon Musk can talk about Twitter all day long, and Twitter don't mean nothing, because Twitter is a private company. What really matters is our bill of, our government, our Constitution, and that's all being taken away. So he's just playing a role. He's getting laid. He's getting a lot of pussy right now because he's playing this superstar role. That's complete bullshit, in my opinion.
Okay. So there's no hope. I was thinking, this is what I was thinking. I think the best controlled opposition is controlled opposition that doesn't know they're controlled opposition.
Yeah.
It's the most powerful, like the best controlled opposition. The most powerful controlled opposition is controlled opposition that believes the shit that they're saying. Yep. As opposed to a controlled opposition that is in on the whole scheme.
I would say the majority of the players are all deceived. I would say that all the people that we're aware of that we can name their names and stuff, Nancy Pelosi, whatever, Elon Musk.
Yes.
They're all being fooled as well. They're being played.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. So let's just say I wanted to frame this guy, Joe Blow. I wanted to frame Joe Blow, and I wanted this guy in prison. So I wanted to start spreading rumors that he fucks kids, right? So I go to you. What would be more powerful to get this guy in jail? What would be more effective if I went to you and said, hey, I want to put Joe Blow in fucking prison forever. I want to spread some rumors that he's fucking kids. Will you help me? Or I come up to you and I say, listen, man, I got to tell you something, dog. I haven't told anybody. I don't know who to tell, but fucking Joe Blow, dude. I trust you. Joe Blow's fucking kids, and I don't know what to do. Should we go to the cops? I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be more powerful? You would be more powerful, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I think. So that's why it's more powerful when the controlled opposition does not know they're controlled opposition. They're actually convinced they're doing the right thing. But the drawback, you get way more power. But the drawback is if they can figure it out on their own and kind of wake up, they're going to turn on you. So that's just the human condition. So is like you said, you believe that a lot of these players, these deep state players, I think once they get blackmailed, you could just let them in on everything. You know what I mean? Once they're blackmailed, like, bitch, dude, we got
they're just going to do whatever you tell them. Then at that point, it's
orders. When they're blackmailed, like, dude, we do this and do that and shut the fuck up. But if they're not blackmailed, it's more powerful to get them to believe they're doing something right for humanity. This is the right way. Right.
I have a theory on that. I'm doing a report on this probably in August. I've been talking about doing a report on this forever, but it's just kind of a bummer. And it's a bummer in the sense that, well, that'll be clearer. But I have a theory that, and I even think this might be real, but I definitely think this is what people are being told. I don't think you could convince thousands of people that we need to depopulate because there's too many people and, there's too much carbon dioxide. I don't believe that story. However, I do believe you can convince thousands of people that the world is going through a cataclysmic phase that happens cyclically throughout the ages. And it's about to happen again, perhaps a recurrent solar nova event that is going to demolish civilization. And the chances of surviving such an event are very slim. And it's happened in the past. We have evidence of it with the pyramids and other, architecture that, written in warnings through the Great Year, cataclysmic events. And look, all we're trying to do is survive this event so that society can survive this event. And so we need you to play ball with us. And so, we're going to depopulate some, but that's just because we need like we need to get rid of the weak and the old so that we're left with like a strong, hardy workforce that can help us build the arcs and build whatever we need to do to survive this cataclysm that's coming. That's what I think is happening. And I don't know if the cataclysm is real. It kind of seems like it could be because we are experiencing like some climate, a lot of unsettled climate stuff. You listen to the Randall Carlson and past civilizations and all that stuff.
You believe in climate change?
The climate is definitely changing into a more turbulent. What I'm getting at is it appears as if the climate is shifting into we're moving towards another ice age or maybe another cataclysm. I don't believe in man-made climate change. Okay. But I do think, that's all I'm saying.
I was like,
no,
damn,
in fact,
like what?
No, but I definitely think that something is happening. And I think that is why they came up with the whole man-made climate change story was because that's one, it's a cover story to cover up for a major event. And two, it's a way of making a ton of money off of it.
I think the climate ain't doing shit. But
I hope you're right.
Have you looked into Tartaria at all?
No, I've looked into it a little bit. I haven't found anything compelling on it yet.
That's what I used to say. That's what I
send me something because
when I first heard about Tartaria, people were talking about there was this cataclysmic event, mud flood.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, when did this happen? And how they didn't have pictures back then. They didn't have videos back then. So what, I got to believe that shit like it's Noah's Ark again. Like I was like, I looked into him like, oh, how do you know there was this mud? Oh, because what drawings? And
there's some pictures of buildings that were like, buried.
But now, see, it went from having like what evidence, like written, like, stories, like that's your evidence, to thousands of structures all over the world today. Pictures, dude. They're all, people are, it used to be, people thought that these structures all over the world, they were like buildings built into mountains, like the sides of mountains and the sides of hills. Like that's what you look at them and go, oh shit. So they had badass builders, badass masons or whatever. They built like castles into the mountain or into a hill. Now it's looking like there was some kind of electromagnetic storm that fucking melted buildings and brick, red brick. Something about the red brick is like electromagnetic.
I have seen some of that. A friend of mine actually just recently sent me a video on that. Yeah,
dude, there's tons and tons and thousands of structures and buildings all over the world. There's insane evidence that something something melted.
Yeah,
society. They melted. It wasn't like a water flood. There was some electromagnetic thing that does, because there's all these buildings, the brick buildings, but 70% of the bricks look like they were blown up.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them weren't. A lot of them are still there's no way they could have built it that way. It just looks like all these bricks were it looked like they got melted and they expanded and got gooey, and then they hardened. And then they turned into these weird giant, they call them balloon rocks.
The ancient Vimana texts of India describe I think they call it the Brahmin weapon. They describe some powerful weapon that could do stuff like that, the power of 1,000 suns or whatever to melt and fuse things together and stuff. So
yeah, crazy shit. So I don't even know why the fuck I brought up Tartaria, but Hib, throw some mad pictures, because otherwise I'm gonna look like a fucking retard. You know what I mean?
Do you remember the trees?
You gotta back me up on
no
the Tartaria. We need video and pictures. But I don't know why I got into Tartaria. We were talking about
you brought up Tartaria because I was bringing up the idea that of climate change, that we're heading towards a major solar event. That's
I think I've said it many times. We're not, this place that we're on, Earth is not overpopulated. We're barely.
I agree with that.
We're barely even on this motherfucker.
Yeah.
When I go on, the last 20 years, dude, I've been on, I don't know how many flights, man. I've been all over the world a bunch of times, all over I just see nothing but emptiness. I don't see barely see people. It's empty.
And where we do live, we all live in the same little area, in little zoos,
Yeah, it's cities. They want, and obviously, in these New World Order Illuminati meetings, when they're strategizing, it's probably first grade Illuminati knowledge. The New World Order can only work if we put everybody in cities. And damn cities.
Well, you don't want to give up the resources. I mean, they're just seeing, I'm sure all they're seeing in all those little in-between spots are, you don't even know, if you don't know of any resources there, then it's probably even more valuable, because it's like, well, what could it have?
What I used to think before I got all into flat earth and all that, what I used to think when I would travel in the 2000s, and I'd be like, all I was thinking was we can all have a fucking acre. Look at all this. Even if I think we could all be born and be given an acre of land, and it would be
acre's
fine.
Plenty.
There's plenty of land. I'm flying over all this barren wasteland. I'm like, I don't even care if I just had an acre in the middle of some barren wasteland in southeastern Utah.
There's enough.
I don't give a shit. I would build my shit right there. I go, that's my anchor.
Yeah.
I would fucking get there, boom, and I'm chilling.
Man.
But put up a hammock. No, this is my shit.
That's my dream. My dream is to I've been a rental person my whole life. I've never owned any property. My dream, that's it. If I survive what's happening right now, I just want to own my own little acre. An acre I wouldn't mind a few acres.
I don't even
acre
know what
would
an
be
acre
fine.
is. I was protected. Is an acre a lot, or is an acre?
I know.
A lot?
I was just at a friend's in town here who's got like a couple acres, not like an acre and a half or 2 acres.
Yeah, when dudes say, "Yeah, dude, I got 3 acres,"
and he's got a ton of food growing.
I don't even know what
he
that
has
is.
like a whole forest of food growing. So you don't need much. An acre is plenty. For real.
Is an acre like a football field? I know that. When people say that's 3 football fields, I know how big that is. I go, damn, 3 football fields. Shit, I know that.
3 football
3
fields.
acres. I don't know what that is.
Yards.
It's a manly thing to know acres. Like yeah, I got fucking 4 acres.
It's 43,000 square feet.
Damn.
That 43 scale, formidable.
40, that's a lot of that's a lot of land. Yes.
Yeah.
I know square footage.
Yeah, I know square footage. I'm sitting about 700 square feet right now. So 43,000 sounds like pretty awesome.
You know who else lives in Naples? Jim Brewer.
Yeah, I actually met him when I first moved here.
At Whole Foods?
I had at the local grocery store, actually.
What?
Well, it was I met him. I called him up because I wanted to interview him for InfoWars, and it never really came about. I don't think I pursued it. It was like right before Russia went into Ukraine, and so right after Russia went into Ukraine, I just sort of dropped it and just focused on work. But
he's, you know what?
His latest stuff is hilarious. Yeah,
dude. Have you heard his George Soros?
No, I just heard the stuff that InfoWars has been playing. I got to watch the whole special. I think I might watch it tonight, actually.
He's got a great George Soros impersonation.
Oh, really?
It'll make you howl. It's so good.
Like a recent evil. George Soros? Like a
He does George Soros great, dude. It's like you could ask whatever you would ask George Soros, like whatever. Like if you had George Soros right there and you could ask him anything about the Illuminati, how the world runs, what happened to Jeffrey Epstein, whatever, he'll have an answer ready for you right there in that George Soros voice. Fucking hysterical.
Now, shifting gears here, George, what is your relationship with Marina Abramovic?
The job that she did with the wonderful and talented Lady Gaga is
extraordinary. What did you give her for the work she did with Lady Gaga? Did she get an island or a small continent?
No, when we're done destroying Ukraine, she gets Ukraine.
He's fucking way awake, but you know, anybody in that business, they got agents, and they got and then your agent is like a fucking big Hollywood agent or whatever. You kind of got to watch what you say, you know what I mean? Because he's, you know what? I had him on my podcast. We went off. So he's like spreading his wings, but it's hard when you're, you know, in Hollywood. As soon as you come out, they're going to come after you. Just like, you know, Gina Carano, they fucking swarmed on her, canceled the shit out of her, and so many others. So it's kind of same thing with Jamie Kennedy. I had him on my podcast as well. And he's like, you know, taking baby steps. It's tough because you got to fucking pay rent and you got employees and they got to get paid. They got families too. And you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? It's way easy to just be a random, anonymous poster of truth. God damn, if I could do it all over again, I would have just did it that route. I'd just be some anonymous dude. I'd be like Red Pill 1984, you know what I mean? And just spread news that way. No one knows who you are. Like dude from X22, Dave, no one knows. He never shows his face. Nobody knows who he is. He's just on top of shit. And man, it's tough when you're out there. Everybody knows who you are. You're a fucking sitting duck for these motherfuckers. So it's, you know, I understand why motherfuckers keep their mouth shut and are not all about jumping on shit and being associated, you know, like if someone in Hollywood decides to go on Alex Jones show on InfoWars, damn, they can expect some like, now they're right-wing terrorists, domestic terrorists, white supremacists.
That's why Hollywood, I mean, that's why you played that video in the beginning of this whole thing, is it's because Hollywood is made up of whores and prostitutes, and there's no excuse. There's no excuse for it. Like if your job, if you're not allowed to tell the truth because of your fucking job, then you have the wrong job, you know, and it's a really bad job, in fact, and there is no excuse for it. Like Jim Breuer is excellent. But one of the reasons why Jim Breuer is so excellent is because it really exemplifies how lame the entire industry is. Like nobody is saying anything. And there's like, you'll hear rumors about, oh, well, so-and-so really wants to say something, but they can't, you know, or so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. And this is just humans falling in love with celebrities and making excuses for those celebrities being weak whores. You know what I'm saying? And it's really disappointing. Like we need to stop all that. And I think we're all guilty of it. It's like you see it in England with people worshiping the royalty, you know, and they get every time the royalty comes out and parade around, there's a certain amount of people in the UK that'll just, oh, it's so great. Look at them. Look at the prince, you know. And we do that here in America with celebrities, and there's something wrong with it. And I think until we figure out what that is, we're going to just keep getting screwed over and bent over by these, you know, elitist whores.
Jim Breuer's, he's got a clip that's kind of viral. What? He's a fucking parrot. Did you hear about the new variant? The new variant. There's a lot of things changing. I know it seems like, you know, for me, it's either the Great Reset or the Great Awakening. It's a fucking UFC fight. Somebody gonna win. It's either gonna be the Great Reset or the Great Awakening. I don't know who's gonna win at this point, but I feel like the Great Awakening is gonna win. I feel because the truth is so much more powerful than the propaganda. You know, because what, you know, people, they go, you know, it's hard to know what truth even matters, because there's a lot of truth out there, but does it matter? Does that truth matter? Like the truth, like all the dirt that we have on the demons on the left, we have that truth, but does it even matter? Because if the whole mission is to just destroy everything, to destroy it, okay, we're going to give, since there's a slightly more decrepit demonic shit going on the left, we're going to give the right all the dirt on the left. Then they fight and blow everything up, and then we clean it all up and we start the Great Reset. It could be that, you know what I mean? Because what do you think about Trump? You think Trump is deep state? You think Trump is Elon Musk-ish? You think Trump is legit? Is he legit trying to save America, or is he a con artist?
Because of the vaccine, I don't trust him. But more than that, I don't think we have by 2024, it's going to be over with, in my opinion. I mean, what do I know? I have no idea, but in my opinion, the only way the Great Awakening is going to win is if we begin to do something. The more we continue to just watch it unfold, and I'm guilty of this too. The more we just watch it happening, the more we guarantee that we lose. The more we guarantee that the Great Reset wins. That's all the Great Reset is trying to do, is to get us to just sit home and watch this as a spectator sport and complain. And hopefully maybe even burn everything down. They would love if we do that. So it's like, eventually we're going to have to, and the perfect opportunity was in 2020 when they told us to wear masks and shut our businesses. That was the perfect opportunity for the entire world to be like, you know what, go fuck yourself. We're not going to put fucking masks on, and we're not going to shut our fucking businesses down for a cold. You know, that was our opportunity and we blew it. And so now we're in desperate measures trying to, I think most people, are hoping for another perfect moment, you know, like we had in 2020, another opportunity to where we can redeem ourselves. And this time be like, you know what, go fuck yourselves, you know, because the thing is what's happening in Sri Lanka, that's part of the plan. Like a lot of people I've seen are celebrating that as like, yeah, you know, they're overthrowing their government. That's part of the plan. They've already explained that. They want us to all burn down our own governments. They want all the governments to fail. And because it's very easy for them to manage that. The only thing that's good, and this is the sad thing too, is I'm at the point now where it's really expecting a miracle. But the only thing that's really going to turn it around is for us to like have some type of spiritual awakening where all of a sudden we realize that, you know what, we are in control of our own lives. You know, we don't have to just sit around and do what they tell us to do. We don't have to just obey. We could actually create. You know, we could actually tell them to go fuck themselves. We could actually get rid of them and create something that makes sense.
Do you believe that the biggest problem going on is that a large percentage of the population is under a state of hypnosis? Do you think that's the number 100%?
That is the number one problem.
Okay. So what if we're admitting that they are under hypnosis? We must fully understand what hypnosis means and what being under a trance means. So obviously, if you're under hypnosis, you can't show people facts and have that awaken them.
Exactly.
There has to be a book about how to deprogram someone in a trance. It can't be, there has to be a plan. Right.
I just did a whole podcast on this, and the best answer I've ever heard was from the leader of the Iranian populist movement, the Restart movement, Syed Mohammed. He said that the herd that you're talking about, the brainwashed herd, the mass psychosis part.
How do you wake them up? It can't be.
That's
just
what he's
like
saying. He said it's through the art. And at first, when he said it's through the art, I didn't understand that because as an American, I'm like, what do you mean art? But art in America, Hollywood is art. That's the art. In America, the art is Hollywood. Whether you like it or not, it's pop culture, it's The View, it's Hollywood. That is the American art. And that is what the herd is always going to follow unless they wake up. But that we already know that a lot of people aren't going to just wake up. So the only way to move the herd is to change the art. And that means that we have to dismantle Hollywood and dismantle the pop culture media and replace it with a type of art that is healthy and that is like leading the herd into a healthy, prosperous direction instead of over the fucking cliff, you know?
It's kind of happening though. Look what Daily Wire is doing. Well, and I know Antonio Sabato Jr. He's Hollywood actor, and he's awake, and he's starting a production company. It's been going on for a couple of years. I don't know how successful he is, but he's into producing movies and TV or whatever streaming content.
That's how we're going to do it.
Isn't touched by Illuminati hands. Like it doesn't have to have like a red pill message. I don't want to hear a message. I just want to watch a movie.
Right. I don't want to hear any message.
And it wasn't touched by any kind of CIA, deep state Illuminati shit. I only want to see those movies because I know it seems like maybe 100% of the blockbusters have some Illuminati fingerprints on them. I mean, you could just see it.
I agree.
Right?
I don't even really see myself as a journalist. I see myself more as an artist, and I always have. And when it comes to art, that's all I want to see is I want to see something authentic and genuine. And I can smell, motive and propaganda. I think most of us can smell motive and propaganda pretty well. And it's gotten to the point where I can't even try watching any. I don't even try. If it's a movie, I don't even try watching it anymore. I avoid it.
Yeah, I only watch cartoons, animated. I just saw the fucking new Minions where the Gru, his prequel, and all that shit. I got a 10-year-old. We watching every fucking cartoon out there. So I just said, the first time I watched Lord of the Rings, I was in my early 30s. Fell asleep halfway through every time.
Yeah, they're sleepers.
I didn't know. I didn't fucking get any of that shit.
Long.
I just like, dude, these motherfuckers are just hiking, dog. That's all they do is hike with no shoes. But now with my son, he's into it now, and I gotta watch it. Now I gotta watch it. I'm like, God damn, look at the propaganda in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's just, dude, Lord of the Rings is just New World Order shit. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Scare people with the, hey, we got to unite to kill this evil. We got to unite. And the castles that wouldn't unite, they got jacked first. So you learn the lesson is like, either unite against this extraterrestrial threat with us, or you're going to fucking die. It's us against this threat.
You think, let me ask you this. Do you think that humans are at the top of the game here? Or do you think there's a non-human character involved in this drama?
That shit David Icke has been persecuted.
Yeah, I tend to think that I think that the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and that whole group, I think they're just Judas goats that are working for some type of non-human character element. That's just my own personal theory.
I would not be surprised. I wouldn't. I mean, to think that they got, there's a lot of motherfuckers out there going, oh, dude, don't fake news this, fake news that. I don't believe that. I don't believe this shit. They can't fool me. Like, bitch, they got you good, dog. You still believe in the ball.
They got us all.
That's
good.
the biggest one. The biggest one
it really is
NASA. Fucking Wonder
That is the biggest one. And it's got everyone, man.
NASA
got everyone.
NASA's, that's the biggest one. Seems like sometimes it seems like all these different layers of political bullshit, all like they don't even give a fuck about abortion. Like the people that like abortion, they don't give a fuck.
I think is
I don't think they give a fuck about anything. I think at the highest levels, as long as they think they're fucking on a ball shooting through space, we don't give a fuck about Constitution. We think the U.S. is cute, the United States is cute. Look, they got their freedoms, whatever. Let them have their freedom. Like at the very top, they don't give a fuck.
That's what brings me to the non-human part, because I agree with you. But here's why. Here's why they want you to think you're on a ball spinning through space. And this is just my theory from all my conspiracy theorizing, is that they want these demons that have been here forever, that have been living underground. These non-humans, they want to rule over us. They don't like to hide. They don't like to hide underground. The scripture talks about a time when the giants ruled over man and stuff, and then scripture also talks about them going into hiding and stuff. And so they can't just bring them out and be like, hey, these demons want to come out in the open and rule over you. So what they can do, though, is they can create this whole story of like space and aliens, and then eventually have a scenario where these aliens come to Earth, and there's good aliens and there's bad aliens, and maybe the good aliens save the day and give us all kinds of cool toys, like some free clean energy and stuff. But anyways, at the end of the story, the good aliens get to sit on top of a throne like they used to back in the day, and rule over humanity out in the open like gods. That sounds maybe a little crazy, but that's the only reason I can think of as to why they want to make you.
Well, the only reason I got into flat Earth right now, the only reason I brought that shit, because you started bringing up like reptilians and shit. So I'm like, cool. I don't sound as crazy, because all that shit's crazy. As soon as you bring up flat Earth, you talk about fake. Space is fake, and then look at that map you got in the back, dog. Hell yeah. So like, what do you fucking think? What do you, I probably, gun to my head, they go, what's going on? I'd be like, there's probably a bunch of Earths that are like these giant lakes. There's probably a shitload of them all over the fucking place. And it's just like, we're on some fucking level, and there's a lot of other land, and there's a bunch of shit out there, and they just got us in this little spot. And they're, because I mean,
well, we don't know where we are. That's the thing. It's like,
well, I'm just guessing.
Like,
I don't know.
I know, me too.
But I know one thing for sure. What they're telling us is bullshit. The sun is not 93 fucking million miles away. 93 fucking million miles. You know how fucking far that is? 93 fucking million miles away. You believe that shit? And people are like, yeah. Nobody, all these astrophysicists, none of them redid the whatever the experiment was to figure that number out. You know what it is? They just read that shit. They read that shit, and then they believe that shit. And when you look into the sun, you know how they figured it out? When you look into it, you got to look deep. How they figured that shit out? There's NASA got some kind of laser pointer that nobody has access to. But in 1961, they had like some laser pointer that they triangulated the Venus, the moon, and then Earth. Oh, sun's 93 million miles away. Total bullshit. Nobody knows how they figured that. They're triangulating shit. Shut the fuck up. And everyone believes it. These guys,
everyone believes it. You can, and the thing is, and here's what it is: you can do the math on. For me, it's the curvature. That's what gets me. Just do basic curvature math, and it all goes out the window, and you realize it's all bullshit. And everyone believes it. And here's what I think it is a lot of people don't like to do math, or I'll rephrase it. A lot of people can't do math. And so a lot of people, rather than saying, oh, I don't know, I don't understand math, they'll just say, fucking flat earthers are stupid, you know? So it's just the thing about flat earth. The main thing about flat earth, in my experience, is two things. One, it shows that we don't know where we are. Like a big mistake a lot of people make is they start deciding like, oh, then that means we're like in a snow globe and blah, blah, blah. Maybe. But the whole point of the whole thing is you realize that you don't know where you are, you know, because the heliocentric model doesn't make sense. That's number one. And number two is you realize how dumb everyone is, because even like the so-called smartest people in the world will all be like, these flat earthers are retarded, you know? And it's like, they're obviously, and a lot of us flat earthers know that once a person says that, they're basically just admitting that they either haven't even bothered to look, or they're not smart enough to understand that the math doesn't add up. One of the two things. So it's like, really, it teaches us that the human race, we're not that much smarter than, say, chickens or cows, you know, or pigs. And this is nothing against chickens, cows, or pigs, because I love chicken, cows, and pigs. But all I'm saying is that the human race, we're not that much different. We're
man. I used to really love getting into flat earth debates. And now I enjoy talking about it with people that are on the fence. I love it. Like this is my 15th episode, and I would say 90% of the people I've had on are not flat earthers, but they're on the fence about shit and they're thinking about shit. I enjoy talking to those people because when you give them information, they're saying like, tell me, dog, like, what's up?
Yeah.
What do I need to look at? When they have that kind of attitude, as opposed to the people that are not on the fence, they're like, bitch, where'd you get that from? Oh, you're on YouTube? Like, oh, you get your shit from YouTube?
Give me an open-minded person.
You need to read a book. You need to read a book. Like those people, I have no patience. I don't want to talk about it. Like I don't need it. Yeah. I don't need you to be a flat earther.
It's a weird subject.
For us to hang out. I hang out with a lot of people. I don't ever bring it up. I don't need you to be the flatter. It's too frustrating to try to dude. Once you're like, if you're not even on the fence and you're completely in the trance, I'm like, I'm not trying to break people out of trance. That shit's hard, dog. MK, like, do not.
I don't even think it's possible. You know,
it's like, it's tough. Yeah. But I enjoy, you know, answering questions and giving information to people that are like they're coming to me like, oh, you did the research. Like, you know, people mistake that for like admitting that you're mentally superior to them or something. If they come to you and ask you, they're like, those people I don't want to talk to. You know, it's like going to, you know, a foreign country. Like, I've never been to France. That's one country I've never been to. But if I went to France and I landed there, it would be a smart thing to ask people that are from there, what's up? You know, where do I go? Hey, dude, where can I go to find, like, oh, yeah. I'm not going to go up to them like, dude, you think you're smarter than me because you know where to fucking eat around here? You think you're smart? Fuck you. I could figure this shit out. I know where to eat. I could figure this out. Just, you think you're smarter than, like, that would be the most retarded thing to do.
Yeah.
The smart thing to be like, I'm not just because I've done research in a certain area and you haven't, doesn't mean that I think I'm smarter than you. What it is like, you just didn't spend time here. You're spending your time over there and you're very smart. All right. And you know way more than me in those areas that you spend time. But I don't think like, you know, you're necessarily smarter than me or you're better than me or anything like that. We have to all understand that we're all spending time in different areas. Even within the conspiracy theory world, everyone's talking shit on everybody. Like, you don't know, because there's so many different levels and different conspiracy theories. And there's so many, like, we're getting fucked in so many different ways. Some people spend all their time over here. Some people spend all their time over there. But what the biggest thing that pisses me off, the conspiracy theorists do, is in order to give more credibility to the research that they've committed their lives to, like 9/11 or something, like, dude's all 9/11. He knows everything about it. So to get more credibility, he will talk shit on other conspiracy theories that he didn't spend no time on just to make his research more credible. Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe in that shit. That shit's stupid. That's retarded. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This is not a conspiracy theory. I've done all this research. So they shit on other people and other conspiracy theories that they haven't looked into and they're totally wrong about. And it happens so much. Like, relax, dude. You just haven't looked. It's frustrating. So anyways, I'm so glad that you're fucking fully awake. I'm so glad, like, all these people that like, oh, fake news this, fake news that. But as soon as CNN, like, in the middle of all their bullshit fucking iPhone headlines, they're going to put, oh, scientists found 7 new planets in a fucking galaxy far away. And everyone's like, oh, cool. Did you know we found fucking 7 new planets? So cool that we could find new planets so far away. It's only 100 light years away, dog. You know what I mean? It's not that far. You know what I mean? So it's like, these people are just, but they're calling CNN fake news, but when they report on space shit, oh, no, that's real. They're not allowed. That's real shit. It's not all fake. Yeah. That's real. Like, to me, that's the most important shit to them. Like, all that other shit, whatever, boom. Just keep that idea that they're on the fucking ball, shooting 1,000,000 miles an hour through 1,000,000 miles an hour. Oh, but you can't feel it because you know how you're on a plane. You're on a plane.
The answer is ridiculous. The answer is basically, well, we can't feel it because we don't really know why, but eventually someone will figure it out. But it has something to do with gravity.
Dude, most people think we're moving 1,000,000 miles an hour through the universe.
Yeah.
And I did too. Did somebody figured that out? Like, did somebody figure out how fast they're fucking, how the fuck did you figure out how fast in all sorts of directions? And people that argue with you, it's so frustrating. I ended up like, before I gave up on arguing with people, like the whole debate would be, dude, we're going to get in a debate and you're going to be defending a model that you don't not only do you not know the name of this model that you don't even know the name of the model. You're not going to know anything about it. Watch.
Close your eyes and just, am I moving? Am I spinning? It's that easy. We're not.
The Earth is stationary, and that is scientific, not pseudoscience.
The Earth is spinning at 1,040 miles an hour. You can't feel it. You can't measure it. You can't observe it. You can't repeat it. But trust us.
People are just deceived. I mean, I grew up from kindergarten. Here's a globe. They gave them a globe at graduation to take home like an inflatable baseball.
So why are they teaching the globe model? Well, the globe is a container, and it's a container of all the known land.
If there's more land,
in the late 1800s, they were talking about more land beyond Antarctica.
The North Pole is a biggie.
Very glamorous destination.
What if we all took our compasses out and just followed them until it stopped?
Oh, it is that far. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wake up.
What if we can truly become free?
They needed a new model because they wanted a new world order.
Open your eyes.
The physics of water is to find and maintain level.
This is the year of flat Earth.
The next level.
The heliocentric theory is bullshit.
Get ready for the next level.
The next level. The truth cannot be stopped.
I'm going to know all about this model of yours that I don't believe in, but I'm going to know all about it. And you're going to know nothing about it.
Nothing.
I'm going to ask you every question I ask you. You're not going to know. Yeah. You're going to defend it.
Right.
Watch. You ready? You ready to start this?
All you're going to know is that you're dumb because you're saying that that's not true. You know, that's all it is.
Yeah. Like, you know nothing about this thing you're defending.
It's one of the most revealing things in the world. Actually, the only problem with the flat Earth rabbit hole, whatever you want to call it, is it's kind of hard to beat. Like when I went through it, for me, it was like this. It was back in, I don't know, 2015. A friend of mine was posting all these things on Facebook about flat Earth, and I was like, it was pissing me off. You know, I was like, what the fuck? Is he fucking with me? Is he trolling? So I actually called him up. I haven't talked to him in a while. And I called him up and I'm like, what are you doing posting this shit? And he's like, have you ever seen it for yourself? And then right away I was like, all right, fair enough. Fine. I haven't seen it for myself. So then I started going into the research and boom, unbelievable. Like, and I've gone, you know, there's nothing compares to the whole quote unquote flat Earth research rabbit hole. It took about 2 weeks for me to kind of get through everything. And then I remember feeling kind of sad because I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to have my mind blown this hard ever again, because there's nothing more mind blowing than realizing that we've been lied to the point where we don't even know where we are. And that's the takeaway. The takeaway from the whole flat Earth thing isn't that we now know where we're at. No, we don't have any fucking clue where we're at. We might as well be in a magical realm, you know?
Yeah.
We don't know.
I like how, isn't it crazy how if you come out as a flat earther, dude, you're not going to get any more pussy. You're not going to get any pussy. That's over. You better keep that shit inside. But it's totally cool. You can get all kind of mad pussy if you say, yo, I think we're in a simulation. Oh,
that's a
dude,
good point.
starts.
You're right.
Chicks just
That's a
start
good
going,
point,
like that's okay.
And what's the fucking difference, you know?
Simulate. You think we live in a fucking computer?
Right.
You think we're in a giant ass computer fucking program? You think that you think we're in a computer? Like this is a computer? Come on, man. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
I think the big mistake is leaping to a conclusion. That's the big mistake.
Dude, they don't get ridiculed, dude. Simulation. Oh my God. Simulation. Shit. You're dude. That
is a good point. You're absolutely right, though.
Simulation. You're a cool motherfucker.
You want to get laid? Simulation.
Yeah. Brad Pitt could be like, Brad Pitt could get in fucking, win an Academy Award for some new shit and say, you know what? I love my family. I love the producers, love the director, but we're in a simulation. So does this all really even matter? Just love each other. We're in a simulation. Thank you. Good night. God bless. And everybody'd be cool with that. Everybody would be like, it's all good. This is a simulation. So love all you can because we're just in a simulation. Peace. Thank you. That would be fine. But if Brad Pitt went out and said, yo, the earth is flat, we love you. He'd get ridiculed. He'd be on fucking New York Times, LA Times as a fucking quack.
Yeah.
He'd probably not make another movie. If he came out as a flat earther, that would kill his career. He'd be doing fucking B movies in Lithuania, fucking karate action shit, like fucking Don the Dragon Wilson type shit. That would be a Brad Pitt right there.
Yeah. I got to go soon, but on the subject of flat earth, let me say this, because this is a theory I've never heard anyone espouse this theory, but this is what I think. If I were to guess, because at the bottom line, I have no idea. Like I said, what I learned from the whole flat earth thing is I don't know where we are, but in Kabbalah, Jewish Kabbalah, which is basically just, in the simplest terms, it's like a collection of occult knowledge. And it's a very impressive collection of occult knowledge. They're pretty accurate with everything. They have it all cataloged. It's actually quite sort of anally retentive collection. But according to the Kabbalah, they have a thing called the Tree of Life. And they say the Tree of Life is sort of the same as the human body and the same as the universe that we live in. It's sort of as above, so below. And I remember for years studying looking into the Kabbalah and stuff, I was like, well, that's weird because everything about Kabbalah is pretty accurate, but that isn't. Because here's the Tree of Life. And on the Tree of Life, you can see the human body. You can see the head, the shoulders. You can see the center column, the chakras. But you don't see the universe. And so I remember thinking for years, I was like, well, that's weird because it doesn't make sense for Kabbalah to normally everything in Kabbalah is pretty sharp and pretty right on. But once I started getting hip to flat earth, it all makes sense. Because for example, in our experience, when you look up, I've lived in New Zealand and I've lived in North America. And no matter where you are, the planets and the stars only dip down below the horizon like a little bit. They never go under. And so on a flat earth model, we're inside of a sphere on a flat plane, and we're stuck in here. And when you look up, we see these other sephira, these spheres that are rotating and orbiting and spinning around. It all adds up, actually. So I suggest, and I'm surprised I've never seen anyone make a flat earth video on this subject before, because if I were to make another flat earth video, I would probably do it on the Tree of Life, the Kabbalah Tree of Life, because it actually does make sense that that's where we're at. And according to Kabbalah, we're stuck in this bottom sephira, which is almost like hell. And through a spiritual evolution, we will then transcend out of this realm and into a higher realm.
That's another cool thing to say is realm.
I think so too.
Like Sam Tripoli, he will not admit. He knows it's flat. He knows it is, but man, it's hard to finally just cut loose and admit I held back for a long time. I was flat for about 18 months and I wouldn't say shit. I'm like, damn, people are going to think I'm retarded. Cause I thought flat earthers were all retarded.
I'm used to people thinking I'm crazy and retarded.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with that.
Yeah. So, but once you're out, you're like, I'm free.
Yeah. Yeah. Like David Icke says, one of the most liberating things in the world is to stop caring what other people think about you. You know, that is.
We had David Icke on the Sam Tripoli Tinfoil Hat podcast, and I was on, and I asked him about the moon. I don't remember exactly how it went down, but I remember being like, damn, he's not a flat earther because he believed we went to the moon. He's not. Isn't that crazy?
I think so.
You would think he would be. You would think he totally
would. I think I think there is a possibility that he's avoiding it for the very same reasons that we're talking about, because it's true. Like
it would ruin his
ruins his reputation.
I know guys
100%. You know what I'm saying? Like totally. You're a nutter. Like one of the reasons I don't mind people thinking I'm a flat earther is because in a way it allows me to sort of fly under the radar and be less noticed because people just dismiss me as a crazy person, you know?
In the age of social media censorship, questioning whether or not the Earth is a globe has been deemed harmful thought. But why is this? We seem to be conditioned to think that the issue has been scientifically settled. But this is not the case. Our most popular scientists recognize that the geocentric model, where the Earth is at the center of the universe, is observably accurate. Edwin Hubble and Stephen Hawking went as far as to say that they reject the geocentric model not based on scientific reasoning, but rather because they find the thought of being at the center of the universe to be emotionally disturbing. Physicist George Ellis stated that you cannot disprove the geocentric model. You can only exclude it on philosophical grounds. The Michelson-Morley experiment in the 1880s proved the Earth was stationary, and Albert Einstein claimed this was a serious embarrassment and intended to disprove it with his relativity theory, but later admitted that he had failed to do so. We are conditioned to think that the heliocentric model is scientifically superior to the geocentric model, but when we apply scientific reasoning, we discover that this is not true. Contrary to popular thought, the scientific community has disputed the heliocentric model for centuries, such as the Earth's curvature. According to the heliocentric Earth model, the Earth is 24,000 miles in circumference, and if one were standing at sea level, they should only be able to see less than 3 miles before the surface of the Earth curves out of view. But this has been proven to be false for centuries, from the Bedford Level experiments of 1838 to modern photography. This photograph of Chicago was taken almost 60 miles away from Grand Mere State Park in Michigan. On a spherical Earth, this would be impossible. Using the Pythagorean theorem and the current dimensions of the Earth, the top of the tallest skyscraper should be 900 feet below the observable horizon. Local news explained this anomaly by claiming the image was a mirage.
And what you're seeing here is a mirage. We typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night. Conditions are right on the lake that we're actually seeing a mirage.
They claimed that somehow light refraction and perfect weather conditions are responsible for creating a photorealistic mirage of the Chicago skyline appearing to sit on the flat horizon from almost 60 miles away. Anomalies in the Earth's curvature can also be found in old lighthouses, able to be seen for several miles past what is possible on the heliocentric model, and weapons guidance systems that are capable of sighting targets that would only be possible on a flat plane. We are accustomed to observing ships disappearing over the curve, but with modern consumer cameras, we can observe that this seems to be an optical illusion based on light reflection, and the laws of perspective. Many of us tend to think the planet is too big to observe curvature, but the empirical evidence tells us that either the surface of the Earth is a flat plane or the planet is at least 100 times bigger than we are told. Another very intriguing argument for flat earthers is Antarctica, the mysterious massive continent at our southern pole that nobody is allowed to explore. After sailing over 60,000 miles along the Antarctic coastline, Captain Cook was never able to complete the journey around the ice continent, which is supposed to be just under 12,000 miles around. Neither was James Clark Ross or the British ship Challenger. Nobody has ever successfully circumnavigated Antarctica. Many so-called flat earthers claim that these attempts failed because Antarctica is actually a massive ice barrier that surrounds the flat surface of the Earth. The Azimuthal Equidistant Projection Map, produced by the U.S. Geological Survey, has been used for centuries for the fact that all directions or azimuths are correct and all distances are at true scale. Studying this map, one can clearly see how man has been able to accurately circumnavigate the Earth on a flat plane model. And if it is in fact accurate, then it explains why after 60,000 miles, nobody has been able to completely circumnavigate Antarctica. Interestingly, this is also the map used by the United Nations. Admiral Richard Byrd, Medal of Honor winner, youngest admiral in the history of the Navy, and recipient of 3 ticker tape parades in his honor, led 4 expeditions to Antarctica. The 4th being a military operation known as Operation High Jump, with an aircraft carrier group, 4,700 men, 13 support ships, and 33 aircraft. Their stated mission was to establish the Antarctic research base Little America 4, but many believe the true nature of the secret mission was to root out the Nazis who arrived in 1939, claiming New Swabia and setting up a Nazi presence in Antarctica. In 1954, Admiral Richard Byrd spoke on TV of an area bigger than the United States with valuable resources and announced a future of international exploration.
Our very distinguished guest for this evening is Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
Strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being.
Yeah, Stan Indy.
But yeah, but at Alex Jones level or David Icke level, if they were to start going out talking about the flat Earth, it would be a fucking joke.
Yes, they would use that, and that would just suck up all their.
It would work.
Oh, there'd be a lot of material for their enemies to just harp on day in, day out. And I get it. I know guys personally big in certain like big with a lot of power, and behind the scenes they're flat earthers, but they're like, please don't bring that up because it'll just distract. It would just fuck everything up. Like,
I love it.
There's a lot of guys like that.
I think it's the most, I mean, it's like, shit, man. It's like I said, there's nothing, I can't think of any other experience topping that. To be
in the 90s, I used to always think, rappers are so, like Snoop Dogg, he was so lucky that he could just be a womanizer if he wanted to, like in his songs, to talk about hoes, or he could just smoke weed, drink all he wants. Like if he got arrested for drunk driving, it wouldn't ruin his career. If he got arrested for having a pound of marijuana, it would enhance his career. And I'm like, man, those guys, like, they're just out. There's like nothing, like they're untouchable almost. You know what I mean? As far as a reputation, what are they?
Reputation.
Yeah. So when you come out as a flat earther, it's kind of like that. It's like, what are you going to say? It's like, you believe in it. If you believe in Warner von Braun and the fact that he was a Nazi and he's the one who directed the fake ass movie. You believe that? Like, if you hear those facts, because there's people that they know Werner von Braun, they know he's a Nazi, and they're just like, they still believe it. Like, you know it, but you still believe, ooh, look, you might be under a trance because you know it. You know he's a Nazi. You know that's a fact. You know his name is Werner fucking von Braun. Thick ass German accent. They didn't even change his fucking name. They changed everybody else's name, but he was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to use my motherfucking real name, dog. And we're going to still do it. And like, I bet there was a lot of people against that shit. Like, we like, dude, Warner, you got to change. We got to change your name.
Well, think about when they were like when they were like making the rover out of like tin foil and cardboard. You know there's got to be people that are like, dude, come on, you can't do tin foil and cardboard. No one's gonna believe that,
dude. There's people that lost their mind when they saw the lamb. When they looked at, they're like, what?
Yeah.
What? He goes, yes.
Yeah, wait. They'll believe whatever we show them.
They liked it. They go, let's make it fucking ridiculous.
Let's make it fucking ridiculous,
dude. Whoever designed that, dude. He had either he got fired and hung in a closet in the hotel in DC for coming up with that design, or they gave him a helicopter for it.
Yeah.
They're like, that's brilliant, dude. It's hard to tell which way how they go. Like maybe they get awards for the dumbest shit that people buy. Like that's like a special award. You know what I mean? Like maybe they get like I would think like an island or some shit.
Right. Because it's almost humiliating, Like, let's make it, let's just convince these dummies of something so stupid, just to
it's just dumb shit.
Just to humiliate us.
Yeah, like day one of Biden's presidency, he's like, let's let dudes play chick sports.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that was brilliant. They went day one with that. They came out hard.
Wacky. It's been just a little over a year. It's been an intense year, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I think we need, you know what? I think we need to just stick with Biden until 2024. Let's because they're talking.
If we can survive that long, if we can make it that long, I mean,
I think the longer we have Biden, the more like every day 3 people wake up. That's what I think.
That is true.
Average. I think so. We might need Biden for another couple. There was now looking back, like there's no. It's between the Great Awakening and the Great Reset. Who knows? Maybe the Great Reset wins, but we do know for a fact, if you have half a brain, that if the Great Awakening wins, this was necessary.
Yeah,
Biden had to take over, and that's probably part of the deprogramming. Like if there was an actual counter, an actual plan to fix everything, they would have to address the problem. The biggest problem is that these people are in a trance. That's the biggest problem. How do you wake them up? We have to do this. We got to let Biden in, let him cheat. We'll catch him cheating. We let them do whatever the fuck they want to do. We let them do it because it was like Trump came in. Like if there was a real counter, you're going to come in for 4 years. You're going to unplug everything, just unplug all their shit. And then boom, you dip out. And because they're going to hate you because the press is they're going to attack you. So they're going to hate you. So you're going to have to dip out because there's no way you could stay in. You have to dip out, let them cheat, catch them. We got them with the election fraud. And then we just fucking let Biden do whatever the fuck they want to do. And just little by little, that's probably part of the deprogramming process is let them do all the stupid shit. Let them do whatever. Go to fucking Ukraine. Let them Afghanistan. Yeah, they left. People think they left. They just left all that military. They just left it there. They didn't sell it, dog. You think they just left that shit? You don't think they would charge nobody for that? You think they charged? They probably made trillions off that shit. I go, no, we just left it. We forgot it. They're not gonna forget shit. You know how much money they can make with all that shit? All the money they're making, shit. So it just seems like they have to this has to be, if the Great Awakening wins, this had to happen. This has to happen. Now I look at the lockdowns as necessary. And yeah, let's see. And then now we get to look to see who's wearing their mask still, who's wearing their mask. Like, damn, look at them. Ooh, damn, that's strong. 2 years, you got your kids wearing fucking masks, dog. Damn, you are a zombie. You are a zombie. And you're right there, right? You could see them like, damn, walking zombies. Damn, you got 3 kids that are in masks and we're out in the mall and you still got them wearing fucking masks. You are a zombie.
Well, I hope the Great Awakening does. I mean, that's what I'm banking everything on. And you actually did give me a little hope because you were talking about how the art is actually starting to shift. And I do think that is what it's going to take. So
a lot of things like people, I mean, I pay attention to certain things. Some people pay attention to other things. And these people over here, they pay attention to other things. What I pay attention to is this really the Great Awakening? Is this real? Are good things really happening? Is Trump legit or is he fucking deep state? Damn, is he? I know you said you were disappointed with the vaccine stuff, but the conspiracy theory is he had a choice. He had to go, you know what? We have to go pro-vaccine, bring it out way early, fuck up all their plans. Because look, they wanted the vaccine passport. They got the vaccine passport, but then they pulled the plug on it. That was a conspiracy theory a year ago. A year ago said, everyone's like, oh my God, look at all these vaccine passports. Every city was just putting them in my own city, LA, my own city. I went into the mall. They turned me away because I didn't have papers. I couldn't go to restaurants in my own city. I'm like, we got to get the fuck out of here. We were looking in Tampa, ready to go to Florida. Because I knew, I was 100% sure the whole plan was to put the vaccine passports in, and they're not going to put them in and take them out, but they took them out. God damn, the conspiracy theory was right because nobody wanted to believe in that conspiracy theory. Like, what do you think they're going to take them out? They're putting them in. They ain't taking them out. They're putting them in. I was that guy. They're not taking them out. There's no way. He's playing 5D chess. This shit's fucked. This shit. And guess what? They're all gone. That conspiracy theory was right.
Yeah.
They're all gone. Where's the vaccine passports? That shit ain't coming back. Why would they pull the plug on that shit? Everybody who's an Alex Jones fan, they know from the 2000s it was about the vaccine passports. We've been waiting for this. We weren't fooled for 1 second. And they put them in. They got to LA, vaccine passport, fucking doing COVID tests, flying. They dropping that shit. There's still some shit going on in like Australia and Canada. They still got some shit going on. But damn, in the United States, they dropped all that. And then they try to bring back the mask in Philadelphia. That lasted 4 days. They pulled the plug, backlash. And then this latest shit where after all this data of all this vaccine injuries all over the goddamn place, out of all the documented 1,200 fucking side effects, it all comes out, and all these people dying of heart attacks and shit, myocarditis, and all this weird blood clot, all this shit. You go, guess what? We got some good news. The Biden administration approves the vaccine for 6 months.
Yeah,
6-month-olds. Like, wait a minute, in the middle of all this shit, and guess what? Big fucking mistake. Apparently, only 2% of kids got fucking fell for that shit. It was there was a backlash. And at this point, shit, you taking your kids to get vaccinated for fucking COVID, the flu, you are under complete hypnosis.
100%.
Yeah, it's like, how do you know if you're under hypnosis? Did you get vaccinated? And would you get a booster? Because there's some people that got vaccinated, they had to.
Yeah, I'll give people a pass on the first.
They were like, damn.
I mean, at the time,
but I know guys that got vaccinated, but they regret it and they're not going to get the boosters. I know a lot of people that got talked into it. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't look into it. They got the first and second shot. They didn't know. They were trying to keep their job. I get it. You know what I mean? They just weren't paying attention. I get it. But now they know. Now then, I got family members like they're against the boosters. I got friends that got the first and second shot, but they're against the booster. So at least they woke up then. You know what I mean?
Well, I think one of the reasons I'm good at my job is because I have a a natural paranoia, and I don't trust anyone. And I tend to think that I'm always sort of like, I don't know, so it's like, but I do hope that you're right. And I do hope to see like people wake up, and I do hope to see humanity shift into a good place. Cause I really honestly think that we're capable at this point to, create like a golden age renaissance, I really do.
Yeah. A lot of shit's changing. I mean, if Trump is legit, if Trump is not deep state and he's legit trying to save America, then I believe the Great Awakening will win.
I would agree with that. Well, we need a fair election too,
No, but a lot of Did you hear about the shit going down in Wisconsin?
I've heard some
Supreme
stuff.
Court?
Yeah.
Dude, justice moves slow. The truth moves slow. But you know what?
You're right.
But we need the time because we need Biden for the next 2 years. We do. We need gas to go up to fucking $10.
I would agree with you.
Whatever it takes.
I do agree with that. The only thing that's ever going to wake these people up out of their brainwashed trance is
the gas prices.
Yeah.
That's going to wake gas prices.
They
will wake
to
them
hurt.
Up. Yeah.
They need a spanking.
Yeah.
They need to get, it's like in the movies when you see the old Hollywood movies where someone shakes a woman or slaps her, when she's in a hysterical moment and stuff like that.
Have you seen the shit like that Nicole Kidman commercial of her eating bugs?
Yes,
They're trying to convince people to eat bugs. Dude, that's a hard job. Dude, if I was in the Illuminati meetings, I'm like, dude, we're hanging our hat on that shit.
Right.
Like, dude, you know how hard that's going to be? Dude,
people got Oprah and Tom Hanks to do that.
MK Ultra them.
You know what I'm saying?
They go, dude, we MK Ultra them to not eat bugs because we're actually supposed to eat bugs. But we now we're not going to get them to eat bugs. Like bugs are the scariest thing in my motherfucking life. I wouldn't I don't even want bugs around me. There's no way I'm going to eat them. They're trying to get us to do that's a hard job. Like I'd be pissed if I was like, damn, I'm going to quit this Illuminati job. They're trying to convince people to eat bugs.
Yeah.
That's like trying to convince people to eat shit. It's like very similar. It's in the same category.
Well, I think that's the point. I think it's to just demoralize and shame. It's like, they're trying to get
to wake people up too. It could be like some crazy. It could be like what because like the demons infiltrate. Team Demon infiltrates Team Freedom, but why can't Team Freedom infiltrate Team Demon and just make them like they get in the demon Illuminati boards and just come up with the dumbest shit? To make them look bad, You know what I mean? And they're like, are you sure you want to do that? Yep. Yes, let's convince, we could do it. We can convince people to eat bugs. And they're like, really? Like,
well, I kind of think that's really what's going on because my idea of God is everything. That's my idea of God. So there is no evil opposition to God. If there's any type of evil, then that evil is God. So God is everything. So that means that the Illuminati is part of God. That means this whole drama is part of God. And so exactly what you're saying, you're right. It's like, what's the goal then? The goal is to try to get humans to snap out of this like stupid, lazy, lackadaisical slave mentality.
Hypnosis.
And to start thinking, right. Snap out of hypnosis and to start becoming more present and vigilant with their minds.
But you got to remember, it's not hypnosis like in a metaphoric way. It's literal hypnosis. So when someone is under literal hypnosis, like when they're doing MK Ultra, like on single patients or whatever, like the Nazis 1,000,000% figured out how to put people under MK Ultra hypnotic states, and they probably 100% figured out the steps and the process to get them out of it. And it's written down somewhere in some kind of fucking manual, right? It's like, it's literal, like hypnosis. So wake these people that are still with their fucking masks on, with their kids in their masks and their fucking can't wait to vaccinate their fucking 1-year-old. They are in a trance. So to wake them up, you got to look at that manual. There's got to be some like shit, like proven shit. This steps, Like this, it's not going to be easy. It's not like you just sit them down in front of a screen and you show them a documentary. You know what I mean? They're not going to, they don't see it. There's no way they're going to see it. They're still in the trance, right? So what is the, there's got to be a written curriculum to get people.
Probably just pain and suffering, you know, once people
just,
all
I
of a
think
sudden
over and
realize
over,
that they,
all
they
the
can't,
Biden
like,
shit, all the Biden shit, just over and over, just, dude, it's just over and over and over and over and over. Afghanistan, Ukraine, fucking slipping on a fucking bike. It's just letting dudes play chick sports. Boom. You know what I mean? It's just boom, boom. And little by little, a couple guys every
all
day
of our
wake
money
up.
away. Just
A couple guys a day wake up. So we might have to take this for a while, you know, because the good news is once you're awake, you don't go back to sleep. So that's the good news. The truth is way more powerful than the propaganda. The propaganda has weak legs. The truth, fucking oak tree legs, Igor Volchanshin legs, you know, with a lot of cardio, with that Neo-Magny cardio, you know what I mean? So that's what we have on our side. The truth, man, we got the truth on our side. But who knows? Maybe the bigger picture, it doesn't matter that we have the truth. And like you said, maybe the bigger picture is like, the way you destroy a system is you give someone the truth in that little dimension, and then they destroy each other with the truth, and then boom, when the dust settles, we have the Great Reset. Could be that, you know, could be that. You know, if Trump is deep state, there is no hope. We will be China. We're headed to China, and there's no stopping it. If Trump is deep state, we're fucked. We're fucked. We're going right to China.
I don't think we'll be China. We'll be the Middle East, because there's enough hillbillies and hicks and rednecks in this country where it'll be just a nonstop shit show of it'll be like the Middle East, you know?
Yeah. That's even scary.
They're not.
Shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
I hope it's like China now. Hey, Greg, man, you're awesome. I hope to have you on the show again. It would be awesome if you're a regular. We can go on all night. I'm sure we can go into, there's so many conspiracy theories. There's so many dimensions and different ways and different turns and twists that we can get into. But I'm gonna let you go. I know you're on the East Coast and it's time for your bed time. And,
yes, sir.
I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you very much. It was
thank you. I had a great time talking with you, man.
Thanyou, man. I'll see you.
Thanks, Eddie. See you, Eddie.
The Jiu Jitsu Dojo is the ultimate training ground for life. Jiu Jitsu will accelerate the evolution of your being, your consciousness, your soul. Through this amazing art, you will prove to yourself that you can master anything you set your mind to.
Happy birthday, Eddie Bravo.
I leave for Brazil tomorrow.
Are you the Fear Factor guy?
I'm like 6 pounds over. Time to sweat it out.
Just imagine someone that has no idea how different your game is.
I'll tell you what this weekend was, man. It was a culmination point where all your hard work comes to like one great moment in time. You showed that you're a fucking champion, guy who goes against convention. You created your own shit and figured interesting ways to get around problems in jiu-jitsu. And shows you that great things are possible if you work hard, if you dedicate yourself, and you use your creativity, and you push through. Your own human potential just goes up.
My 10th Planet Association has grown rapidly to over 70 academies worldwide, and their curriculums are all synced to 10th Planet headquarters located in downtown Los Angeles. I'm Eddie Bravo. I hope to see you on the mats.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.